Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I make a two bait trout rig. This is a wonderful little rig for trout fishing because it enables you to present two baits to the trout, and the first bait is going to have some kind of a floating bait on it, so it lifts the rig in the water column. Of course, that's going to include your second bait, and now you have a wonderful two bait presentation for the trout, and they can pick whichever one they want to bite. Now let's tie one of these things. I'm going to start with the leader, and the first thing I do when I tie a leader is to form a dropper loop. To do that, I'm going to form a loop and then thread the tag in through that loop 3 times. 2, 3. All right, now I need there to be a gap between the loop and the tag end. I'm going to use a pin, slide that in the crease there, to make sure that that gap is a thing. So now I'm going to take the tag end and thread it through the loop another 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now that I've done that, I'm going to pull in the main line and the tag end and the pin to open up this gap here on the left. That's also going to leave a gap of line right here on the right. I'm going to take that little bare section of line, form a loop, and I'm going to thread it through this here on the left. Then very carefully, maintaining positive control on the main line and the tag end with my right hand, I'm going to start closing that gap, tightening the knot, make sure everything has closed, and you can kind of see this coming together almost like a T, right? So now I'm going to pull against the main line and the tag end in opposite directions, and that gap is now closed, and we have a dropper loop. I like my rigs to be about 18 inches to 3 feet long. This one here looks like it's going to be about 2 feet, so I'm going to cut it a little longer than that to make adjustments for the knots I'm going to tie. For the rest of the leader, we'll need 2 things. The first being a barrel swivel, which is going to connect the leader to the main line, and then some kind of hook. I really like using egg hooks or a small panfish hook. Today I think I'm going to go with a small panfish hook. Let's tie it together. To tie the first hook on here, I'm going to tie it on with a Palomar knot. So I'm going to fold my line in half, form a little loop that I can thread through the eye of the hook. And then with this folded over line, I'm going to make an overhand knot. And then I'm going to pull out this loop tag in right here, open it up, and thread the hook through it. And then this is getting a little messy right here because these things are so dang small. Now I'm going to pull that loop up past the eye, and then with the main line and tag in between my fingers, I'm going to pull it tight. I'm actually going to wet this with some spit so it slides together easier and it won't get all twisted and stuff. Here we go. Start pulling it tight. I'm going to trim the tag end. To add the second hook, I'm going to take my dropper loop, form a little point with the loop that I can thread through the eye of the hook. And then I'm going to bring it almost all the way through, then open it up, thread the hook through the loop, bring it up past the eye, like that, and then pull it tight. Next will be the barrel swivel, which I will tie on with another Palomar knot. I really like the Palomar knot. It is the strongest knot in the world, and if I can tie it, I'm going to tie it. Almost every situation, aside from a few, I'm going to be tying this knot. So here we go. Wet this so it goes together easier. Pull the main line and tag in and close this thing up. Trim the tag end. Moving on to the main line, we're going to need 2 things, some kind of sliding weight and then a plastic bead, or it could be a glass bead. I like glass beads too. First thing we're going to add is the sliding weight. Don't need a lot of weight here. It kind of depends on how big of a rig you're going to go for. If your combo is a little bit heavier, maybe you go with like a 1/2 ounce sinker. That would also work. You could even go with a 1 ounce sinker. That would work too. Now we're going to slide on the plastic bead. Now this plastic bead I really like to use. It's not necessarily mandatory, but I like to use these plastic beads because over time this weight is going to be knocking on the knot tying the barrel swivel to the main line, and that can weaken over time because this weight, I mean, it puts a lot of force on that knot. So having this plastic bead on there acts like a buffer and protects that knot. Now comes the time to tie the leader to the main line, and once again I'm going to use a Palomar knot. This is my trusty old friend. It's never failed me before. I'm going to make my loop quite a bit bigger this time because I'm going to be threading the entire thing through it, so it just makes it a lot easier to get it in there. Although the hooks can make it difficult, sometimes they catch, but that's alright. This time I'm going to use my pliers to get a grip on that tag end so I can pull it tight. Give the main line one last tug, trim the tag end. Now it's time to see this thing in action. All right, guys, let's put this rig to work. My baits of choice are going to be power bait floating dough and power bait floating egg. First bait I'm going to do is this dough. I'm going to take a little bit of it, ball it up over the hook, get enough on there that'll allow it to lift that rig in the water. All right, about the size of, I don't know, what do you say, that's the size of a chickpea right there. But I'm not really worried about the hook and all that. If a fish takes it, once I set the hook, that dough is not going to get in the way of the hook set, so I'm not worried about that. Now I'll take one of these eggs right here and put it on the second hook. And all I'm looking to do here, this is a little bit tougher than the dough, so I'm going to go ahead and skin hook it. Just like this, put it right on the bend, exposing that hook point. Perfect, let's get it out there. All right, here we go. Got my cheap little rod holder right here, set it down, and then what I like to do with these is make the line somewhat taut so that whenever the fish takes the bait, I can detect it a lot easier. All right, there we go, set it down, and we'll wait for the fish to bite. Oop, that line just went slack. I wonder if something's messing with it. Let's give it a look. Got him. Yep. There's a fish. I knew there had to be, oh dang, he popped off. What I'm looking for on a trout bite with this rig, it's really subtle. It's just a very light tap, 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 tap. You usually don't run with it. I think I got another hit, guys. Once again, rigging up my rod and look down and there was tapping going on over here. Let's see if he's still there. Yep, got him. Let's see if we can make this one stick. Oh yeah, he's putting up a fight. Oh yeah, we're on him now, baby. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a decent fish. All right. Come here, bud. I want to take you home and cook you up. You're gonna taste delicious. Gotcha. Well, this 2-bait rig works like a charm. If you guys want to learn other fishing tips and tricks, I got a ton of videos on my channel you can check out. I'll leave a playlist you can check out right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.